The simple explanation for why I have a disdain for weak people is that they are liars. And anybody inside of your internal circle should never be a liar. You can have people who disagree with you. You can have people who perhaps do not share your worldview, but they should at least be honest. Because lying is treachery. And weak people are always lying to themselves. So how can you expect them to tell you the truth? Let's analyze that. If somebody is constantly lying to themselves, how can you expect them to be honest? They lie because their entire worldview and all of their self-esteem is built on a lie. Lies are all they know. Weak people will pretend that strength is not important. This is a huge leap. This takes incredible courage. They say, we don't live in the caveman days. You're right, we don't. It doesn't matter, but it does matter, and we'll discuss why it matters. But the fact that they will bend reality to avoid them having to put in some effort is actually a huge red flag. So let's analyze this. I have a strong business partner, I have a weak business partner. Both of them don't try. Who is more honest to admit, who is more likely to be honest and admit to me they did not try? The person who understands that trying is necessary to yield results, the guy who goes to the gym every day, or the person who believes that you don't really need to try because it's not important. These people are fundamentally dishonest. When I see somebody who is not strong and not interested in being strong, I know that their word doesn't mean anything because they've been lying to themselves their entire life. So I don't trust them. Another reason I do not trust them, the forces which are externally applied by your enemies, by the matrix, and by life. Meaning they are likely to betray you. If your friend is strong and he is dragged into a policing, he is less likely to bend, break, or sell you out than if he was weak, because a weak person is afraid of persecution. A weak person is afraid of consequences. They are afraid of going to jail. So a weak person is more likely to bend and break in the scenario in which they have to put their own personal liberty on the line to defend it, as opposed to a strong person. A strong person knows they can handle. They understand that being honorable will be rewarded karmically by God, and they can handle the consequences of doing it. If you can't handle the consequences of being honorable, how can you ever be expected to act honorable? So weak people are great when everything is great, but they are useless when times get hard. And ask yourself, do you want friends who are great when things are great? Or do you want friends who are there when times are hard? If your life's already going well and everything's going great, what do you need them for? You want to go drinking? You want to party? You want to laugh? You want to be a bunch of clowns and achieve very little? Because when times are going well, when everything is perfect, that's when you enjoy the hedonistic side of life. You don't grow as a person. Often you don't achieve so much. You're only achieving and growing as a person during the most difficult times in your life. When things are going perfectly, that's when it's all just a clown show. Do you want friends who are capable clowns, but are completely useless in a war? If you do, then perhaps you are that type of person, because birds of a feather flock together. If you're the kind of person who thinks it's okay to have friends which are only useful during the best times of your life for entertainment, and provide no utility during the worst times in your life, then perhaps you are one of those types of people. I believe that my circle should be most useful to me and most loyal to me when the chips are down. When everything's going well, it's private jets, it's champagne, it's pretty girls, it's penthouses, it's Bugattis. That's great. I can do that by myself. When I need help is when I need friends. So I enjoy spending the good times with my friends because I know they would be there in the bad times. And you can't rely on weak people, because even if they have the best of intentions, even if they love you with all of their heart, their love means nothing because external pressure will make them break. It doesn't matter how much they love you. It doesn't matter what their intention is. It doesn't matter what they promise. It doesn't matter what they say. All that matters is all of that will go out the window once they break because they are weak. If a weak man says to you, I got your back 100%, bro, he may mean it when he says it. He will convince you because he is not lying. But he is incapable of resisting pressure. So all of those words go out the window once he breaks. So when a weak person says something to you, you can ignore it. It's worth nothing. Every word that comes out of a weak person's mouth is a lie. Because they've spent their entire life lying to themselves, and by extension, they're going to lie to you. Another reason I don't like weak people is they're broadcasting to the world that they lack discipline. Because the great thing about strength is that it's actually very easy to achieve. You don't need any fancy program. You don't need any fancy lesson. You need to pick something up and put it down over and over until you project strength. Now I will teach you how to do strength inside the real world of fitness classes. There's endless free YouTube videos. If you need more information, it exists. But this I need information, this feigned ignorance, is only an excuse for laziness and cowardice. Truthfully, anybody knows what it takes to get strong. So let's analyze as professionals. If everybody understands what it takes to get strong, and they understand that they are viewed differently for being strong, and that they are viewed in a positive light for being strong, and still refuses to become strong, they are telling you that they lack dedication. They lack the motivation required to do hard things. And that when the going gets tough, they quit. That's what they are saying to you. And you can instantly see it, whether they want to say it or not. That's what they broadcast permanently. It doesn't matter if it's a business discussion. It doesn't matter if it's a fitness discussion. It doesn't matter. When you see a big, strong man, you know he has at least the qualities of dedication. You know he is prepared to push past a certain point where most people would quit. You know he's the kind of person who understands how important it is to be seen in a certain way so they're protective of their reputation, that they're proud of themselves. If I was obese, saying the exact same things I was saying to you, you wouldn't listen. None of you would be on this emergency meeting listening to me if it was word for word the same if I was obese. You are here because you know I understand the tenets of strength, and I understand the tenets of discipline. So these are people who are prepared to broadcast to the world that they lack discipline purely because they are so monumentally lazy, or they are so afraid of difficulty that they would rather suffer them than fix the problem. What does that tell you about potential business collaboration? What does that tell you about an FBI interrogation? What does that tell you about a nightclub combative situation? It tells you that these people are not going to be there when the going gets tough. Everybody knows how to fix it. Strength is an important outlet broadcast every single week. And anybody who is weak has accepted how they are viewed because they are so monumentally lazy, they're not prepared to do things. And they also try and cope for themselves. And if they are dishonest with themselves, they're going to be permanently dishonest with you. And that is why, once I created my life to look for people around me who value, coveted, worked towards strength, a lot of the treachery disappeared. When I was in jail, nobody in my circle betrayed me. Nobody. Which is actually very rare. When a man gets arrested and 50 of his people are dragged into rooms and threatened with jail, someone usually bends and breaks. This happens in the mafia. This happens in the big criminal gangs. The baddest of the bad people, they find a rat. With me, they couldn't find a single rat. Because I have people around me I can trust. Which is also, because it's not just physical strength, we're also talking about mental strength. And I'm going to say something which is highly controversial. I know that's unlikely, but this is very important. If you have somebody in your circle that is struggling with an addiction, as a good friend, perhaps you can try and help them. But if they continue to struggle with this addiction, if their mind is so weak that they are controlled by this substance, whatever it is, will they sell you out for this substance sooner or later? Why are you trying to help this person and have this monumental liability near you? I say depression isn't real because I believe that. I don't believe depression is real because by believing in it, you give it power. If you say depression is a real thing, you can become depressed. Much like a ghost. If you're afraid of ghosts, you're afraid to be in a forest alone at night. If you don't believe in ghosts, you're not afraid to be in the forest because there's nothing to fear. I don't believe in depression. And I've had a more difficult life than all of the people I've ever met who told me they were depressed. Which is once again confirmed to me that depression is not real. And you cannot change my mind because I will not adhere to a mindset which weakens me. So I don't want to listen to people who are sad about how the world works. So depressed people can't convince me that it's real. These are weak people. If I had somebody near me who was depressed, could I trust them? Could I trust them if things got hard? Could I trust them with money? If somebody is so depressed that they refuse to get up and do the right things for their own life, do you think they're going to do the right things for me, in my life, in our mission? Can you trust somebody who cannot control their own mind? There are people out there which are so mentally weak, they will think of a thought, and that thought will destroy them. They will have a thought that they create in their own mind, themselves. It's in their head. And instead of turning it off or fixing it, they will allow it to fester to the point where their body and their life degrades, and they will be defeated by their own thought. Can you trust somebody who is that? When somebody near me says they're depressed, they have about a day to snap out of it. Because if there's someone around me who is depressed, I don't trust them anymore. Why would I want friends who aren't excited to stay alive? I mean, you're depressed. You want to jump off a building.
This groundbreaking charger is taking the tech world by storm. It can charge your phone from 0 to 100.
What good are you in a combat situation? You're ready to die anyway. You've already given up. I don't need those people, and I don't want those people. And by creating your life to only have strong people in it, not only do you remove many attack vectors, because I want to make this clear, on a long enough time frame, weakness will betray you. Every single time I have ever been too gracious to a weak person, I was betrayed. Just like I said, if I drop this phone, I know it will fall. If you are friends with somebody weak, they will betray you. And it doesn't matter what they have a weakness for. If they have a weakness for gambling, they will steal your money. If they have a weakness for women, they'll try and sleep with your ex. If they have a weakness because they're depressed, they're going to externally blame you and blame the entire world for their own lifestyle choices. If they have a physical weakness, then you cannot rely on them in a police interrogation or a combat situation. The easiest way to identify if somebody is going to betray you or not is simply based on, are they strong or weak? And this can also be extrapolated to intention. This can also be extrapolated out to intentions. So let's ask ourselves something important. Let's do a thought experiment. Let's pretend you had two friends. One was big and strong, one was small and weak. And both of them decided, for whatever reason, to betray or subvert you. The big strong man would be obvious about his intention and use his strength and power, because that's one of his moves. Inside of his poker deck, he has the, I'm big and strong, this is what I'm gonna do, get over it. The weak man doesn't have that, so the weak man can only resort to treachery, to sneaky behavior, to hidden shadow. Big strong men can be honest, because big strong men are unafraid. So if I had a friend that didn't want to be a friend anymore, I could sit and say, I don't want to be your friend anymore. Why? Because you're depressed. I don't trust you. Well, are you betraying me? You're not helping me in my depression? No, I am not. Please leave my house. I'll say it straight to your face. A weak person won't do that. A weak person lie, make up excuses. What is worse? If I told you that a tiger was going to attack you, would you rather see the tiger coming, even if it's big and strong, or for it to jump on your neck from behind as you go for a nice stroll out of the bushes? In which scenario do you stand a better chance, irregardless of the strength of the tiger? The thing that hurts you most is the thing you don't see coming. It's the same in boxing. It's not the hardest punch to punch you out. It's the punch you don't see. Always has been, always will. So weak people can never be honest because they don't have the capabilities to face the consequences of their own actions or the consequences of your reprisals. The only thing they can do is be sneaky. And when you only have one move on the chessboard, guess which move you're gonna make. If you have a poker hand and you only have threes in the deck, you're gonna play the threes. That's all you've got. Weak people only have sneaky subversion. That's all they've got. So they'll talk to your ex behind your back, they'll steal a little bit here, and when you confront them, they'll lie because they're afraid of you and your power. No, it wasn't like that. No. That's why you have to stay away from weak people. Even if they do the wrong thing by you, they don't do it in a transparent way. They do it in the most devious of ways. And once again, life is risk reward. As a professional, and I try and explain this to people all the time, you have to make decisions for risk reward. If there is a 10% reward for said action and a 5% risk, it's worth it. If there is a 4% reward and a 5% risk, it's not worth it. So risk reward. A weak friend is giving you what? Entertainment. Well, the world's pretty entertaining. You have YouTube and Netflix and Rumble. You have Twitter. You have work to do inside of the real world. You should be very busy. You shouldn't need entertainment. So the reward is quite low, but the risk is monumental. Because if these people decide to betray you, you'll be monumentally surprised by how far a weak man will go for a little bit of money or a little bit of risk. You'll be extremely surprised. Let me give you a scenario. You have a girlfriend. You have a weak friend also. And that weak friend, of course, because he's weak, is controlled by his weak. Do you think he won't betray you because his girlfriend wants him to? What if his girlfriend is pressuring him to find out what you're doing behind your girlfriend's back? And she says, I will leave you if you don't tell me what he's up to. Can this weak person handle heartbreak? You see it all the time on the internet. You see men, full-grown men, crying their eyes out over a bitch, crying their eyes out over a woman, bawling like children. You think he's prepared to lose the woman that stops him from slitting his own wrists because he's a weakling to protect you? Let's imagine you're in business with this guy and his girlfriend and him start arguing. And she's his world. Because she's his world. You know those wife couples. My world, my best friend. She's everything to him. And you need a very important thing done for the company. You need a report by Friday afternoon. And his girlfriend is bored. I'm bored. All you do is work. Take me out somewhere. I'm tired of this. All you do is work. Do you think he's going to choose work and your company or choose her? She isn't paying your bills. And if the company fails, she will leave him. But he will still pick her over your joint venture because he is weak, making him a bad business partner. When I see a man who's scared of his wife, or is discussing problems he has with his wife, or is complaining about issues from a girl, I start to become very worried about how much I can trust that man. Like, I'm not saying don't be in love. I'm in love right now. But if she fucks with me, bye. Because I'm a full-grown man. I'm not afraid of missing a girl. I don't want to get set on fire. I don't want to get shot in the head. You think I'm afraid of missing a girl? I'm going to sit there with a thought in my head, a missing thought, and it's going to beat me. I'm going to get up. I'm going to stay rich. I'm going to train. I'm going to drive fast cars. I'm going to become prime minister, and I'm going to win. And she's going to lose, because I've never lost. She's broke. I'm up. That's why it's called broke up. You can't trust weak people with anything. And in the world we live in today, where trust is even more important than it's ever been, I don't understand why you would have weak friends. Logical extension, why you would be prepared to be seen as weak, knowing that people who understand this about the world no longer trust you. Don't you, as a full-grown man, want to be seen as trustworthy? Let's analyze it. You walk in, heads up, firm handshake. What is that all about? Well, that's about proving and trying to elicit trust. You want to be trusted. That's what business meetings are all about with the firm handshake. You don't give a little soppy handshake for a reason. You don't want to project weakness. Because weakness is known universally across all cultures, across all periods of time. Weakness was a bad thing. There has never been, until this modern world, absolutely, and we're living in the age of Satan, there has never been, in any period of human history across any culture, where weak men were celebrated above the strong men, ever. It has never been respected. It has never been good, ever. And you're choosing that team, why? Because you're tired, because you're lazy. What does that tell me about you?